Good afternoon, Blair Mill. How is everyone? Welcome to our first official town meeting of the 2019-2020 school year. It's kind of incredible that next year will be 2020. So the town meetings, we'll get into what they're for and what they'll be about in one moment with our student hosts. But I just wanted to take a second to go over what does it mean to be a good audience member? What does it mean to be in an assembly? Next Friday, we're going to have a special guest come in, and they're going to have an assembly for us. Today's kind of practice for something like that. So what does it mean to be a good audience member? Bailey? Did you say sitting on your bottom? Sitting on your bottom, just like we talk about in lunch all the time, right? Sitting in your bottom, crisscross applesauce, for those of you who like to use that. What's something else we would be doing? Yes? You're all doing it right now. Those of you raising your hands if you have a question, that's fantastic. Daniel? No talking. And maybe there'll be a time to talk. Maybe the presenters or the students will ask a question, and you can talk at that point. Or we'll get up in a moment and we'll say the pledge, and you can talk at that point. But then there's also times to be quiet. That's great. Let's get one more. Ellie? Listening when someone's talking. And you're all doing it right now for the most part. You want to kind of direct your eyes and your body language at the person who's talking. So whether it's me, or whether it's students, or another teacher, or a special guest, whoever it is. So if I walk over here, your eyes are following me over here. If I walk over here, your eyes are following me over here. And that's what it means to be a good audience member. And we'll have town meetings once a month for us to practice this together. We'll also have plenty of assemblies. You'll go out on field trips. You'll do all those things this year. And the same expectations you do here, you would do at those places. Does that sound good? All right. So I am extremely excited. There's nothing that gets me more excited throughout the school year than opportunities for us to come together as a community. It was really nice on that first day, if you remember, when we had the music playing in the back and the drone flying overhead and we were all together with our teachers for the first time and what that felt like. These are one of those nice moments for us to be together again. And we're going to celebrate each other, and that's what town meetings are all about. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our first student host for the year, Rihanna and Braden. Can we get a round of applause for them, please?
Good afternoon, Blair Mill Elementary School, and welcome to our September school-wide town meeting. I am Braden.
And I am Rihanna. We are your town meeting hosts for today. Let's begin today by first reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the Blair Mill Pledge. You may stand. I did not say that right.
So this is one thing we're always working on. I know we can do it. So just like Daniel shared a moment ago, there's a time to talk, which will be in a moment. When we finish the pledge, remain quiet, and then we'll start the Blair Mill Pledge. I'm sorry, when you end the Pledge of Allegiance, then we'll start the Blair Mill Pledge. Okay? The flag's right there, right hand over your heart. Words are on the screen if you need them. I pledge allegiance Okay, hold on. Nice. We'll work on getting that in sync a little bit later. But now we're going to say the Blair Mill Pledge, which is pretty well known, but we'll work on it too, and we're trying to say it together, okay? So I'll start us off, and then we'll go from there. Ready? Right hand up. I pledge today to do my best. Fantastic. You can sit down. Thank you. So give them a second to be quiet if they can.
Wait, you. Come on, let's go.
Each month we gather together to celebrate all of the work we have done as a community.
The town meetings are for us to celebrate each other as well as see presentations from the other students around the school.
At this point, we would like to turn it over to Dr. Thomas to review our school rules.
Thank you so much. And if you've been paying attention at all in the cafeteria or in your morning meetings or throughout the day, I'm sure you already know these 4 school rules by heart. But before we jump into that, today, September 17th, is National Constitution Day. Has anyone ever heard of the Constitution before? Okay, just a show of hands, as Daniel was talking about earlier. Time to raise your hand quietly, time to talk. Just a show of hands is fine. So you've heard of the Constitution. Now's a chance when you can talk. Let's try this. Turn to the person next to you. What do you think the Constitution is? Okay, finish up your thought in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So we'll just look for 2 quick answers. What? Remember, we're quiet. Thank you. What do you think the Constitution is or was? Who thinks they have a pretty good answer they would like to try to explain? Rachel, you want to give it a shot? Can you say that? I'm sorry, I should have had it one more time.
The Constitution Day is the day when all our founding fathers came and wrote a document of the rules of our nation.
Okay, they wrote the rules of our nation. That's a really, really good summary. They sat down together and they thought, what do we need to be successful? What are our hopes and dreams for the United States of America? How do we make that come true? Well, let's agree upon all these rules, and they created this Constitution. The Constitution was signed when? Hint. It's on the presentation behind me. Joel? 1787. While you were talking a moment ago, I did some quick math. Today's 2019, 1787. How many years ago? Anybody think they know what that is? Regroup, carry the one. David? Take a guess. Over 200, you're right. Over 200 years. Sam? 300, not quite 300. 232 years ago. 232 years ago, a bunch of people, I know. Look up here. Let's regroup. It's amazing. Good job. 232 years ago, a group of individuals got together and said, this is what we need to be successful. I feel like a lot of you did that recently in your homerooms. Didn't you? Did a lot of you spend time in your homerooms and morning meeting, taking the time to think about what do we need to be successful? Okay, maybe you don't quite see the connection. That's all right. Oop. The best way to think about our school rules is like this. It's a really crazy diagram up there. But KA is Mrs. Kamali's class. There she is. KB, Mrs. McKenna's class. KC, Mrs. Williamson's class. And it goes all the way through all the grade levels until you get to 5C, Mr. Milbrand's class. We all are part of Blair Mill. All those arrows point to Blair Mill. We're kind of like the states when they were signing the Constitution. It's kind of like when our founding fathers, as Rachel said, got together and they said, what do we need in order to have a happy, safe, respectful, responsible country? Well, what do we need as Blair Mill community to be happy, safe, respectful, and responsible? We need to come up with a couple of rules. So last year, we sat down with some students, and the rules were so good, we decided, let's do them again this year. And I have these written on the board in the cafeteria, and we've gone over them. I know you've gone over them together. But let's review, boys and girls. Brayden. Let's review real quick. What's one of our main school rules? Aiden. It's right up there. No? Pass? All right, somebody else. Yes. Be ready to learn. Love that one. Maybe my favorite one. Be ready to learn. What's another one? Yep. Be responsible. Excellent. What's another one?
Be respectful.
Be respectful. Great. Do you have another one?
Be safe.
Be safe. Did we get them all? Responsible, respectful, safe, and ready to learn. This is what we need as a community. We need this at town meetings. We need this in the cafeteria. We need this on the bus, driving home. We need this in the car line, whether we're coming in here as second graders before school, whether we're in the classroom, whether we're online talking to our friends online when maybe our parents aren't always around. We still need to live by these rules in order to have a happy and safe community. So here's another piece I just want you to think about for a moment. And maybe this will make sense, maybe it won't. What does Constitution Day, our school rules, have to do with the hopes and dreams you wrote in your classrooms in morning meeting? Just by a show of hands, how many of you remember doing something about hopes and dreams in your classroom in the beginning of the year? Teachers are like, you better put your hand up. Hopes and dreams. Anybody remember doing any hopes and dreams in their classroom? Sat down. What do we need to be successful? Take a minute. What do hopes and dreams have to do with school rules? Give it a shot. Talk about it for a second. Does anybody want to try to give an answer? The question again is, what do hopes and dreams and the Constitution and school rules have to do with each other? You want to try?
The hopes and dreams having to do with our school rules is that in order to reach your hopes and dreams about school, you have to first accomplish the 4 school rules.
Nice. You got it. So another way of saying that is that if we want to accomplish our hopes and dreams, these are the things that we want. These are the things that we're coming into school saying, this is what I want by the end of the year, or maybe by December. It doesn't just magically happen, though, right? You don't just like cross your fingers and like, oh, I hope it happens. We actually have to do things in order for it to work. And what are those things? Exactly as you said, it's those 4 school rules, okay? We'll be talking about this for many months to come, as well as in your morning meetings. All right, so without further ado, let me turn it then back over to our student leaders.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. How many of you enjoy being outside, exercising, and friendly competition? Thank you, Dr. Thomas. How many of you enjoy being outside, exercising, and friendly competition?
This year, Blair Mill is going to have their first fun run for education that has its very own obstacle course. Each student in the school will have a chance to participate. The event will take place on Thursday, October 17th.
So we've had the fun run in the past, but this year what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to raise some money around our fun run. And our HSA, which stands for the Home and School Association, a lot of parents who help us with things, they're going to help us organize this. And we're going to have a pretty amazing obstacle course outside. I just met with Mrs. Pace, Mrs. Balkin, if they're in here right now, I don't know where they are, this morning, and we have a really awesome event planned. It's for October 17th, September 17th, October 17th, 1 month away, okay? There'll be plenty of information coming out about this, but it's going to be a really exciting, awesome opportunity for us to do obstacle courses in the back, as well as raise some money for our school, okay? I just wanted to mention that. Do you have a question? What's a fun run? Fun run for education. It's basically a run or an obstacle course where we raise money, we go outside, it's kind of like recess for a while with obstacles and games and things like that. And it'll happen during the school day. Teachers, you're probably like, what is this? More information coming, okay? Yes, Shayna. Great question. How does doing an obstacle course raise money? Well, basically what we're saying is not only is academics or studying important, but we also believe that being healthy is important. So being healthy involves eating right as well as exercising. So we're here for both learning, but also exercise, as well as connecting as a community. So what you'll do is you'll go out to your grandmother, your grandparents, your aunts, uncles, family, friends, and you'll say, if you can pledge $1, $5, $10, whatever it is, I pledge that I will compete in this obstacle course. and they'll say, here's $5, go out and be healthy, and here's how I can support your school community. Does that make sense? Great question. More information on that to come. I don't want to take too much time. I'll turn it back over to these guys.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Another important event we like to celebrate at Blair Mill is our Citizens of the Month. These students are selected by their teachers because they show our cares quality.
In case you forgot, CARES refers to C for cooperation, A for acceptance, R for responsibility, E for empathy, and S for self-control.
Great. So some of you are excited for the Citizen of the Month aspect. We used to clap when each person's name would get called, but we did that earlier in the year, but then the ambassadors last year came up with a really great idea of let's do the silent clap or jazz hands. I see some of you practicing already. And that allows everybody whose name is called kindergarten through 5th grade to hear their name called. And then at the end, we'll do one loud round of applause. Does that sound good? All right, so these students are specially selected, either by their teacher or in some grade levels. These students set goals for themselves. They said, I want to accomplish this, kind of part of their hopes and dreams, and they were able to accomplish it already in our short time here in school. If you would like to try to be a Citizen of the Month, you should ask your teacher, what can I do to do that? And they can have that conversation with you. It's a pretty amazing privilege. So, let's start with kindergarten. Great. So, from Mrs. Kamali's class, please welcome up Donovan Shelby. Come on up, Donovan. Great. From Mrs. McKenna's class, Preston Stasic. From Mrs. Williamson's class, Gwen Marks. From Mrs. Curtis's class, Amelia S. I'll go with S. Amelia S. From Mrs. DeSimone's class, Ashley Oskal. From Mrs. Rodabah's class, Mayameen Ahmed. From Mrs. Balkin's class, Matthew A. Arpry. Mrs. Durix's class, Brennan Gubernick. From Mrs. Pace's class, Tyler Gaver. From Mr. Brandt's class, Bryce Guarnino. From Mrs. Kazet's class, Brianna Santos Escamilla. From Mrs. Kaiserman's class, Jean Anderson. From Mrs. Colantonio's class, Janasia Giardo. From Mrs. Lenahan's class, Olive Robert. From Mrs. Miranda's class, Alana Daniels. From Mr. Whiteside's class, Jenna Robinson. The silent clap is amazing right now. From Ms. Becker's class, Mia Wisner. From Mrs. Kiss's class, Madeline Gerber. And last but surely not least, from Mr. Milbrand's class, Lucia Fulmer. Now, can we give an important round of applause to our first Citizens of the Month? And these students here are a great opportunity. If you need help with something, remember there's one person from each of your classes up here. If you need help with something or you're curious about something, these students are showing some leadership qualities already. You could always seek them out. We also recently had student council. Student council members, you're out in the crowd, can you just raise your hand if you're on student council, if you know you're on student council? Great. Those are also other students that you could look for and ask for help. There's lots of leadership opportunities coming up, okay? It's going to be a great, fantastic year. Citizens of the Month, you can return to your seats. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to all our students. You should feel wonderful about this special honor.
This concludes our September town meeting. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Finally, remember, make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.
Can we have a round of applause for our courageous first students? Boys and girls, you did an incredible job. An incredible job, especially for our first presentation. Kindergarten, maybe one of your first ones ever. You were amazing. First grade, second grade, everyone, absolutely fantastic.